Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making the chipotle roasted nut recipe. Total cook time and prep time all included is about 30 minutes. Most of it takes place in the oven, so really simple but delicious. A great thing to bring out at a party or just when you're gaming or whatever. Friends and family are going to love it. Not too spicy, but it's got some kick. So yeah, if you like the video, if you like the recipe, please subscribe, ring the bell, like the video as well, and let's get going. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we are. So the first thing you should probably prepare for yourself is a baking sheet that's been generously greased with some vegetable oil or canola oil. I probably wouldn't go with olive oil because that will impart a different flavor. So get that grease, put it aside, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Get yourself a bowl, a nice big mixing bowl, and now we're just going to toss in the ingredients. So first up is 3 cups of cashews unsalted, half a cup of almonds, skin on, 2 cups of pecan halves, and another 2 cups of walnut halves. So put all that in a bowl, give it a quick mix. Incidentally, I get my nuts at the local Middle Eastern grocery store. I find their nuts are really well priced. I mean, I've been to those bulk places, but you know, I gotta be honest, it's kind of hit and miss. Sometimes you get some rancid nuts in there, and I mean, it's really hard to know if you're going to have rancid nuts because the only way to know is to taste each nut. You know, you might taste one nut out of the cup, but then there's one in there that's rancid. You're not going to get to it, and trust me, biting on a rancid nut is pretty gross. So I suggest going to a place where you know that they rotate their nuts pretty frequently. Find a place that has a good price. Like I said, my local Middle Eastern market seems to be really reasonable when it comes to pricing. So on top of that now, we're going to put 2 tablespoons of the coarse salt. Don't worry about it because, like I said, I mean, these nuts aren't salted. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of chipotle powder. So chipotle powder is actually not that hard to find. Most grocery stores will have it. So that's 1. I mean, I would suggest make the recipe once. If you prefer your food a little spicier, go ahead. Next time, add some more spice, but do it in slow increments. You know, a half a teaspoon of chipotle powder probably goes a long way. On top of that, 1 packed, and make sure it's packed, cup, not 1 cup, 1/4 cup packed brown sugar. Let's get that in there. Let's break it up a bit. Now we're going to pour in 1/3 cup of pure maple syrup. Don't buy that, you know, processed stuff. Get the real maple syrup, 1/4 cup. You know, you can get it at pretty good prices nowadays. I'm not sure where you are, but up here, I'm in Canada. You can get, yeah, maybe we can get it easier and cheaper because I'm in Canada, you know, maple syrup, that's kind of our thing. But anyway, I mean, I can get a can that's, you know, a regular size can if it's on sale for $4.99. So you may as well spend the extra $1 or extra $1.50 instead of buying that processed stuff and get yourself real maple syrup. It's a big difference. Give that a toss. That's going to help the brown sugar start dissolving. And now you're going to mix yourself 3 tablespoons of orange juice and 2 tablespoons of oil. So I'm using canola oil. Again, you can use a peanut oil or a vegetable oil. I would not use olive oil because that would impart its own flavor. I see a chunk of brown sugar in there. We're just going to break that up. And Just toss it well. And that's almost it, guys. So the only thing left to add is some chopped fresh rosemary. So let's get that going. I've got some fresh rosemary here. I actually grow it outside, just outside my door in a pot. It's the herb that I actually find easiest to grow. It seems really hardy. If you miss a day or two of watering, it's not going to mind too much. You know, I have a hard time growing some herbs, especially dill for some reason, but rosemary seems really hardy. So you just take your sprig of rosemary, cut it off outside or wherever it is you have it. I mean, you can also buy it in the grocery store. They come in, you know, plastic packages of the fresh stuff. Don't buy the dried stuff. It's a totally different flavor. So you just grab the stem and go against the grain and just pull the rosemary off. So you're just left with the stem. This tender tip you can put on there. So we're just going to keep doing that. Some people have actually, you know, when the stems get longer, they get much woodier. So you could actually use them as skewers. If you're cooking, let's say, a Greek-inspired shish kebab or something, it would add a nice flavor. So here we go. Let's see how much that'll give us. Put it in a bunch. Make it nice and tight. And then you're just going to chop it. Move it around. And as you can see, it goes pretty quickly. Get that woody stem out. There's one more. So you're going to add 3 tablespoons. We're going to put that in the bowl. See if I got enough. So that's 1, 2, 3. There you go. Give that a stir. At this stage, if you want, you could try one of the nuts. I think that's actually pretty good spice-wise. You know what? I'm going to put, like, literally just a little sprinkle more. That's it. Because I find in the oven sometimes the spice cooks off a bit. But no, that's pretty good. So that's it. See how quick and simple that was? So pour it onto your baking sheet. Let's get some of these juices out. Spread it out. Try to get as even a layer as possible. I mean, we are going to stir it a couple of times while it's in the oven. So your oven's on 350. I have mine on convection. If you don't have the convection option, that's fine. Just put it on bake. Total cook time is going to be 25 minutes. So you're going to put these in the oven now. And after 8 minutes, give them a toss, put them back in. Another 8 minutes, give them a toss, put them back in. And then at the end, another 9 minutes. So 8, 8, 9, that makes your 25 minutes. When it comes out of the oven, take them off the baking sheet, pour them into a bowl. Because of the maple syrup, they're going to be slightly candied. So as they cool, they have a tendency to stick together. It's not a big deal. Once they're in the bowl, just, you know, go in with your hands, break them up. They come apart very easily. Anyway, we'll get back to you. I'll show you how that ends up when they're done. Right now, they're going to go in the oven for 25 minutes, 8, 8, and 9. Okay, so we're back. It's been the first 8 minutes. I just wanted to show you about giving them a toss. So just pull them out. And literally just stir them around. You know, try to make it so that you've disturbed every nut. There we go. Now we're going to flatten it out again, more or less. Back in they go. Close the door. Another 8 minutes, and then it'll be another 9 minutes. And in the meantime, you can chop yourself another 2 tablespoons of fresh rosemary, because that's going to go on at the end. So here we are. Just pulled them out of the oven. They're still extremely hot. Just want to note that try not to touch them. Just did that and burnt my finger a little bit, because they actually, with the sugar and the syrup, it actually coats them in a caramel-like substance, and caramel, as you know, gets really, really hot. So just be careful when you're dealing with them at this stage. So they're all done, they're cooked. We're going to add 2 more tablespoons of freshly chopped rosemary. Give it a stir. You just want to make sure that every nut has a bit of rosemary. I can tell they're already stiffening up. The caramel is already starting to harden. So what you're going to do now is just leave it like this, let it sit, let it start to cool down, maybe every 5-10 minutes, I mean when you have time. Come back, give it another stir, start to break them up, because this is going to solidify, right? Because of the caramel. But like I said, it's a very thin coating, so it does break up very easily. So let me give it one more stir. And now walk away, come back 5-10 minutes, give it another stir, and so on until it's totally cooled down and the nuts are cool. And best place to store them is out in the open. I wouldn't put them in a container, because I find the syrup or the caramel coating starts to get soft and then they become sticky, right? The nuts stick to each other. What you want is for them to stay nice and dry. And like I said, these are addictive. They're not going to last long. So once I'm totally done, I'll come back and show you the final consistency. All right, here we go. The nuts are cooled down. You know, can you hear that? They've gotten crispy. When you first take them out of the oven, don't bother, trying them, or even after 10-15 minutes, the nuts are going to be softer because they've been cooked. You really have to let them cool down all the way. They will become crispy again. You can hear it here, how nicely they're separated. They're nice and dry. So let's just pour them into a nicer bowl. And there you have it. Chipotle roasted nuts. Give them a try. You're going to love them, even if you're not too into spicy food. They're really not that spicy. The chipotle is a nice, it's a mild heat, I find. And like I said, once you've tried this recipe, it's always easy to adjust. If you prefer less heat, more heat, just play around with the chipotle powder. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this recipe. Let me know below what you thought of it, if you've tried it, if your friends, family liked it. Ring the bell, subscribe, and thanks for watching.